Hey friends, we are talking about context clues today. So we're talking about specifically determining the meaning of words and phrases in a literary text, meaning that means like a fiction text, literature in general. And more so when we don't know what a word or a phrase means, we use our context clues, which we've been doing forever. I feel like we've been doing context clues forever. So again, when you're trying to figure out what a word means, you want to look for a couple clues that can help you. Whether it's synonyms, so words that mean the same that are around it, examples, if the author gives you an example after the word that you were not sure of, or just plain out gives you the definition, or the fact that they may give you a description. There's also one other clue, antonyms, so words that mean the opposite of what that word means. So it might say, the flower was beautiful, not ugly. And if you weren't sure what beautiful meant, you would know, well, if it's not ugly, that means it's probably pretty. So sometimes there's still words that we don't know, so we have to try to make our best guess. That's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to read this small little paragraph here, and then there's a chart on the next page, which you should have ready to go. If you printed this out or if you have it ready, try following along as best as you can. And we're going to kind of look at those words and look at this paragraph. So you're going to have to definitely have them separated because you're going to want to be able to refer to the chart and back to the little paragraph. So follow along with me. Again, you're going to want this paper, this separate, because we're wanting to fill this in and be able to go back and look at our context clues that helped us. So this little paragraph says, Juan yanked awake from a sound sleep. His body shook as he sat up quickly to look around the room. What was that strange sound? He yanked the covers closer around his neck. Then he heard it again. Oh! A spine-chilling howl was coming from the doorway. It was a was it a snake-haired Medusa? Juan peeked out, wondering what unearthly creature could be making that sound. When his breath escaped in a rush of relief and laughter, Juan bent down and hugged his dog. Prince, Juan said, you don't have to howl like that just because you want me to take you outside. Can't you just bark like a normal dog would? So he definitely was glad it wasn't some crazy creature. So now, keeping that page to the side so we can refer back to it, we are going to fill out this chart here. So we have the word or phrase that was underlined in the passage that maybe you weren't sure of, the context clue, what in the passage would help you figure this out, and then what's the actual meaning. So the first one is jerked, and it says his body shook, he sat up quickly. So what's the meaning of jerked? And we know that it's just when you jerk something, it's a quick movement. Okay, we have yanked, and it says he yanked the covers closer around the neck. So we're going to say to move closely. I don't like the move closer. I'm going to say move in a quick manner. Thinking like when you yank something, you move it in a quick manner. Next, we have unearthly. So it says, wondering what unearthly creature could be making that sound. And I think that context clues that would help us there would be creature could make that sound. And our meaning would be like not natural, like it would be like not a natural creature. Unearthly would mean that, meaning not, and earthly meaning it's from the earth. It would be like not natural or not from the earth. Basically like some crazy mythological thing. That's why he refers to Medusa. How? We have spine chilling, and I would say this, your sound, your onomatopoeia. Okay, and we know a howl is we're just gonna say an animal sound. I think we all know what a howl is. We have Medusa, and it says snake-haired. And if you know anything about Greek mythology, you know that Medusa was a monster in Greek mythology whose hair was made of snakes. And if you looked at her in the eyes, she would turn to stone. So if you're a Percy Jackson fan, you've seen the movies, you might have seen Medusa. And our last one is relief, and it says rush and breath escaped in a rush. We'll say that. And then we'll say relief means like the feeling, like stress leaving. So we'll just say stress leaving. Relief is like the feeling of calm. So you can say a calm feeling. Maybe relieved when you're done. Relieved when you're done taking a test. So again, we had our context clues, what helped us figure out maybe what that word meant within the passage. So you can have this copied onto your paper. I'm going to erase. And now we're going to move on to the next section. Now we have a little passage, and this is kind of following a pattern from the past days. We're going to read this and answer the questions below. And it's asking you about the context clues and what helped you know what those words meant, and then what the word actually means. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause, read these two paragraphs, and I want you to underline anything that helped you figure out what that word meant. I'm not going to write down here all of that stuff. I'm just going to discuss it. That way you can think through the process with me. So what I want you to do is pause again. I want you to pause, read these two, underline anything that helped you figure out the meaning of the word, and then come back, okay? Okay, you should be back. You should have read. So, the first one says, what context clues help you figure out the meaning of silhouetted? What does this word mean? So when I'm looking at the sentences around that word, it says, when he woke from dozing, the young soldier struggled to see. He rubbed his eyes and squinted, trying to make out the shapes in the dark. The dying fire silhouetted the tall trees above them, and muddy grass carpeted the ground beneath. Okay. So let's see, we have silhouetted. What did you say helped you know what silhouetted means? And if you underline the shapes in the dark and the dying fire, I think that should help you, because silhouette means like a outlined figure, an outlined shape. So once you know what silhouette means, these are absolutely helping you. The shapes in the dark, and then the fire, so the light shone so that he could see the shapes in the dark. So if I was filling this out down here, I would say that the shapes in the dark and the dying fire helped me figure out the meaning of silhouetted. What does the word mean? The silhouette means an outline of a shape. Okay, so your silhouette. So if I'm standing here, if you can see the shadow, that's like my silhouette too. It's like the outline. The next one asks, what the word doddering meant. So let's read the sentences around it. The man was sitting up straight, eyes closed, his back leaning against a tree, his body swaying back and forth like a doddering old man. His face was covered with dirt and his jaw hung open. What words helped you know what doddering was? So, I'm going to underline his body swaying back and forth like a doddering old man, okay? So I know that doddering means to move back and forth slowly, because that's what it's saying, swaying back and forth, okay? So, now, we have one more section. The last thing, you're going to pause again. Read these two, and then we're going to answer this together, okay? So again, you're going to pause, read these two, answer together, go back, maybe underline some things that are going to help you, okay? So go ahead, pause, read, and we'll talk. Okay, friends, so it says, what felt as soft as a thick feathered bed? Let's see. Well, I want to find where it says as soft as a thick feathered bed, right? And it says right here, it felt as soft as a thick feathered bed. So let's think. Trees, his head, his elbow, or the ground. In pain, he picked up his blanket, spread one out on the ground, and he wrapped the other around his shoulders. Then at last, he stretched out on the ground. It felt as soft as a thick feathered bed. So, let's see. The warmth and softness made him sigh as his head fell into his elbow. Do his head or his elbow feel like a soft feathered bed? No. So head and elbow. I don't see anything around that says anything about trees. So I know it's not trees. I circled ground because it says that he stretched on the ground, and it is referring back to the ground. So it has to be the ground felt as soft as a thick feathered bed. And if you know about figurative language, which you should, that would be a simile because it's comparing the ground to being like a feathered bed using as, okay? Your next job is to read the following pages of the packet, read those passages, answer those questions, read those passages, answer those questions, and upload it so that your teacher can correct.